Are we live? We're live.
Says live.
Awesome. I have my very special guest, my daughter, Victoria Faith Mitchell, now on with me today. And wow, it's just our Friday update for Extend the Rose. Thank you to everyone who is here. And thank you, Miss Tori, as I used to call you when you were a baby, for being here too. Means a lot that you came on.
All right, I'm sorry, Tori.
All the way from Kansas City.
Do this, but we're doing
And all right, so I promised that we would be doing an update every week of where we are with Extend the Rose. And just a couple quick updates, really quick. We are scurrying and putting details together for our upcoming Week of Hope that's coming up September 8th through September 13th. And the details are really coming together. We are going to have roses for every parent. We are going to have gifts and trinkets for every child. We're going to have a tailgate lunch, and we're going to have dogs, and it's just going to be such a great event. And we're close to reaching our fundraising goals in order to make this happen. But today I wanted to bring Victoria on for a couple of reasons. One, she shares a very important perspective as a person who spent considerable time in the hospital when she was a child. And she truly, gratitude for her life is truly the reason why Extend the Rose exists. And then second, I came across a quote that I have known for quite a while by Zig Ziglar recently again. And I was reminded that he says that we don't have everything in our lives that we want because we haven't helped enough people get what they want in their lives. And, that's really the whole purpose of Extend the Rose, is to help people get what they want in life. And so I wanted Tori to fill in some details on a story, and I will set it up and I'll let her finish it. But last year, during our event, there was a moment that I could not have scripted. I could not have even thought of. But God, in his creative genius, made something very special happen. And it occurred when I was talking to two parents. And I was talking to them about their son, Dylan. And they had shared that Dylan had arrived at the hospital that morning. It was a Saturday morning. And that he had had a kidney transplant about a month before that. And on Monday, they were going to remove his remaining native kidney. And that it was failing. And just as they were sharing that with me, started talking to them, I noticed that his parents weren't looking at me anymore. All of a sudden, they were looking behind me. And I turned around to see what they were looking at. And my heart stopped and my jaw dropped because Tori was doing something extremely special. Tori, do you want to tell us the rest of that story?
Yeah, so Dylan is an amazing little boy who, as Mom said, he had had a kidney transplant. If I'm remembering correctly, it was actually his second one. And so he was like a little 6-year-old boy. His family came to the event and we got face painting. And I was trying to be cool and talk to him because he had the green Ninja Turtle mask painted on his face. And I was like, I had to ask him the name of the Ninja Turtle because I was like, I guess I'm really not cool because the only one I know is Donatello. Well, for everyone watching and who has a 6-year-old, 5-year-old boy who's into Ninja Turtles, you know that that is the black Ninja Turtle, and his favorite was the green Ninja Turtle, Raphael. So we bonded a little bit earlier in the day over that. He taught me how to be cool a little bit. And then towards the end of the day, after we had asked all of the kids, including him, what do they want to be when they grow up, his family was actually leaving. And before they did, Dylan and I compared scars. So I sat there in, I don't even know what you would call that, like the reception hall, I guess. And I knelt down, so I was on his level, and I lifted up my shirt and I was like, Dylan, look at my scar. This is to show essentially everything I've overcome. I had, when I was little, I had a liver transplant, so similar to your kidney transplant. And then his mom started tearing up, and his mom was like, Dylan, you have to show her yours. And his was covered in bandages still, as he just had his transplant, and he was still healing. So then we got a picture taken together, and I really hope that Dylan is doing well. It would be great to see him again, but this event is all about helping the kids who are in the hospital, and I really don't want him to be in the hospital again. So in the best way possible, I hope I never see him at this event again.
Yeah. And I can't hear that story without picturing in my mind the two of you facing each other eye to eye, because you knelt down and literally lifting your shirts, comparing each other's transplant scars. And again, I could never have scripted this or planned this. You just did something just intrinsically very special. And what I'm starting to realize about that is the Zig Ziglar quote is so powerful. You gave him something and he gave you something. You showed him what's possible, and he showed you where you've been. And you are both encouraging each other in a way that is unfathomable. I'm absolutely speechless and I was that day too, when that happened.
And
yes, always. I know you like to bust me for that. But tell us a little bit. I know Extend the Rose is really, really important to you, and you've been very involved the last couple of years, not only at the event, but in preparation. You are an honorary board member for our organization. And tell us a little bit about why it's super important to you.
Yeah, so let's everybody close your eyes and imagine yourself at 5 years old. Now, I'm just going to go back to my 5-year-old self because I was actually in the hospital, but most of you, thankfully, were not. So we're going to imagine that one day you are a normal 5-year-old, you're playing outside, you're playing with your brothers, your sister, your friends, and then you start to feel sick. And the feeling of being sick is persisting, so much so that your parents take you to the emergency room. Now, at the emergency room, there's big, scary noises, big, scary adults that you don't know. And all you want is to get out of there. Then you hear, no, we have to admit you and run more tests. And then you think, oh, great, I'm a guinea pig. And as you are facing all of that, your hope is dwindling. You're a bit upset and depressed, as much as a 5-year-old can be. And you're hearing big words like, you have X disease. And you don't know what that means. You just know it's not a good thing because your parents are crying and there's more conversations and big words. Now, that becomes your reality as you are in and out of the hospital. So you are no longer considered a normal 5-year-old. So your routines are disrupted. Your family life is disrupted. Everything you know is disrupted. But you're 5 years old, so you can't really put a good spin on it and imagine and understand it. Now, since that's every week and every day of the year that you're in the hospital with that sad and desolate feeling, imagine if an organization came in and 1 week out of the year, they're telling you, hey, It's okay. You can, you're going to see better things. We are here to encourage you, give you hope. And we're having a party at the end of the week. There's going to be face painting. There's going to be dogs. There's going to be jewelry. There's going to be photos. It's the closest thing to a party in the hospital that you can have. So now, little 5-year-old you is lighting up a little bit more, and you're starting to feel energized, something to look forward to. A sense of normalcy is returning. And when I was a little kid, we didn't really have that unless I would get to feeling better and get out of the hospital and be able to go back to my normalcy. So we, having been someone who didn't necessarily have that, we want to bring that to kids now. So because we have rebranded, which my mom will talk about in a little bit, and we are becoming Extend the Rose, we're developing. So we are doing this in one hospital again this year. However, in years to come, we're hoping to expand, go to the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, everywhere, and bring hope to more than just one set of kids in the hospital. So that is why we are Extend the Rose and why we do what we do.
Yeah, as you were talking about that, it was bringing back memories. And I was thinking about every birthday from the day you were born to literally until your 4th birthday. You spent every single birthday in the hospital. You spent nearly every Christmas. I actually think we got out on Christmas Eve a couple of times. There were several Christmases and several Easters where you were actually sick and in the hospital, and you had IVs that we were able to hep lock, and we were able to spring you from the hospital for a couple of hours, and then we had to take you back.
Hashtag jailbreak.
Jailbreak is right? And those little breaks meant everything to us. And that's what we do at Extend the Rose, is we bring those little breaks and something to look forward to children and families in the hospital. So I mentioned that I would be giving some updates about our fundraising, and we are about halfway there. So we are still in need of about $7,500 to pull everything off before September 8th. So if you are so called, please go to extendtherose.org and help contribute to that $7,500 that we still need. And one of the coolest things happened on Monday. I was talking to one of my insurance clients and telling him this story and telling him the rose story. And he said, "Oh my gosh, I want to donate long stem yellow roses to all the parents at the upcoming event." And that blew my mind. And then I started thinking, oh my gosh, then I have to attach a card to those roses so that people know why they're receiving roses without looking at our website. And so I wrote a card that is going to be attached to each of those roses. And it essentially says, "Dear Mom and Dad, when my son Braden passed away, I planted a yellow rose bush. It didn't bloom for a long time. And then it bloomed on Mother's Day. And then again on Father's Day. And then after a long fight for my daughter's life, the rose bush bloomed again after my daughter got home from the hospital. Now we're extending this rose to you so that you can share in that hope and know that your fight matters, your love matters, and you're never alone." And it's blowing my mind that we get to do that. And after, his name is Richard, donated those yellow roses, on Tuesday morning, I was thinking to myself, and this is just crazy, but it goes back to this Zig Ziglar quote. On Tuesday morning, I was thinking to myself, gosh, it's been a really long time since God has given me a yellow rose. And then, I went through the whole day saying that. And then Tuesday night, I said, oh my gosh, those roses that were donated for the parents on Monday, they're for me too. And that's God showing up to bless this event and make it be everything that it's meant to be, to bring hope to both the kids and to their families. So back to that Zig Ziglar quote. You don't have what you want yet because you haven't helped enough people get what they want yet. And, you know, there's a lot of us who need hope in our lives right now. And, you know, we really can't give someone hope, but we can create space so that they can find hope. And that's what Extend the Rose does. We create space so others can find hope. And so if you need hope today, partner with us, help create space so that kids and families in the hospital can find hope. And in so doing, I believe you will find hope as well.
Yes, and I did want to give a shout out to Christy because she has put me in contact with her friend's daughter who will be giving us bracelets who will be helping with bracelets to give to all the kids. Over 5, of course, because, well, even though they're in the hospital, we don't want to encourage choking.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I'm working with my friend Jessica to get a really cute banner as well.
It's amazing to see how everybody's contributions are coming together to create just a huge party and celebration for people who just don't have a lot to look forward to because they're stuck chronically in the hospital. So whenever I think about this, again, I start crying. So I think that's probably a signal that it is time for this short, what's supposed to be short update to be over. But if you want to find us, please find us at extendtherose.org. We love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this amazing organization. And we can't wait to see what more happens. We will definitely update you again next week, same time, 12:30 Friday. And Victoria Faith, do you have any final words?
You never know what people are going through. So if you're at the grocery store and the person in front of you they're just taking their sweet old time, well, you don't know what's really behind the scenes for that. So just be nice to them. Have a little more patience and help them realize that, hey, there are good things in the world, and that might help calm them down a little bit too. So then they can spread it forward.
Amen. And we can be part of those good things right here at Extend the Rose. I love you, my dear daughter. You are the greatest victory of my life, you and Daniel. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for supporting us. And we will see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.